This is a Hot Pie Original.
Hi, and welcome to the Amy Edwards Show. I'm your host, Amy Edwards. So stoked that you're here. Today, we're going to talk about how to rock life. I claim to be a transformation expert. I am one. And so I don't have a guest today. We're just doing a solo show, and I'm going to talk about rocking life, how I do it, and simple ways to do it. I'm stoked about that. Another thing that's coming up on the show is I'm going to do a really short meditation series called Beyond Belief. And it is just going to be 4 parts, and they're going to be released as podcasts. So you can download them and you can access them anytime you want. And I'm really excited to bring these. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, which I hope, check it out every now and then on YouTube at Hot Pie Media, we have a new background today. It's all like the starry sky, and I am so feeling it. So big thanks to Hot Pie Media for my new background, because I'm so excited. So, and you know what? That's just the way it is. It's just developing organically here. And I'm excited to catch up more in real time with these episodes and just be really present with what's going on with me and then what's going on with you too. So you can write into me. You can write to me anytime, amy@amyedwards.com, and tell me what's on your mind. And I'm hoping to do some segments or some specific episodes too, where I can address whatever you have to say or your thoughts about a certain episode or how you do something. I'm always open to learn on how you do something. So I think that's it for business right now. So I'm just so excited you're here. Subscribe, rate, review, all those good things when you can. I so appreciate it. So let's get started on how to rock life. How to rock life. Here we go. Let's talk about it. Yes, I'm getting intentional about it. My mind was swirling as I was thinking about doing this episode, and I don't know. I just felt like, oh my God, I hope I don't forget anything. I've got to talk about this. I've got to talk about that. And I ended up having to slow way down and just sit with it and trust that I was going to bring what needs to be brought into this episode, And so I'm lighting something, I'm getting intentional. And that is actually the main message of how to rock life. And it's such a paradox because you think about rocking life, you think about doing all these things, all these action items, all these things that we need to get done to accomplish goals, to elevate ourselves, to go higher, to go bigger, to raise our vibration, to, study this and listen to that and read this and consume and be and go and do. And you know what? Really what we need to do is get quiet and present. And it's such a paradox. And the paradox within that we're going to talk even more about is that it seems like it should be simple and easy. And yet it is hard and can feel very complex. So anyway, as we delve into this, and I'm going to keep it simple for you, I promise. We're going to even wrap up with just one simple thing. So let's talk about rocking life. And as we do, let's just take a minute, wherever you are, even if you're driving, just take a minute to just take a breath and slow down and breathe and be and sit. Even you, Colton. Colton's back there running everything. And thank you to him. Just take a breath and know that we have time to do that. It so often feels like we don't have time to slow down. And oftentimes, all the time, slowing down is where it's at to really key into the moment and in turn, get clearer on all our goals, get clearer on our own lives, get clearer on our self-love. Right? So, it feels good to just slow down a bit because as I said, I was spinning a little bit and I had to just get quiet and clear in what my message was today because I've purported about rocking life and I've done it all different ways. I've done it, where I'm constantly going and constantly researching and looking at other people. And that has led me to comparison. It's led me to depression. It's led me to breakdowns. It's led me to just feel really shitty about myself sometimes. And instead, it's just something that I have learned that I have to find my own worthiness and my own self-love and reframe everything into a learning. really. And so we're going to talk about all this with our 5 steps, like the number 5. So as we are sitting here in the present moment together, and thank you for that, my daughter, my little one, has been kind of going through some stuff and stressed out with school. And so the other day we were talking about it and she was like, no, I have to be stressed. I have to be worried about these things. I have to be. And I was like, you don't have to be stressed. It's a choice. And not only is it a choice, it's also almost an addiction. It's not almost an addiction. In Joe Dispenza's book, Becoming Supernatural, he talks about the fact that it releases hormones that we become addicted to. It releases chemicals in our brain. Hormones is probably not the right word, but I'm going off memory here. So sorry, Joe Dispenza, if I get it wrong. But the gist is that it releases chemicals in our brain that we become addicted to. And then we can't stop. And it takes conscious practice and effort, continual practice and effort to overcome that desire for that chemical of stress, because we don't have to live in that space. And I tried to tell her this, but she really fell on deaf ears. Like, she's already in this mindset that she has to feel that way. So I'm going to be taking her through these steps too. I think it can work for any age. And I think we can start to train our children to do these things and to just feel better generally in their lives, which is so, so important. So some of the things that hold us back are the stress and those chemicals, right? And then the other things that, at least for me, what really can hold me back and get me and lead me down the wrong path of not rocking life. Because rocking life to me means taking the daily steps to be our best version. Okay. And in which case we just keep getting a little bit better day by day and feel good about ourselves in the process. So there's the stress aspect of it. And the other things we need to overcome are probably comparison and depression. I succumb to this every now and then. I did just last weekend, and I had a fucking low out of nowhere, where I just felt like I wasn't where I wanted to be. I was comparing myself to others and all these people that I look around that are so much younger, so accomplished, have these great followings and, numbers, all of that. We can all look outside ourselves and feel like bad about ourselves, right? So I'm going to get to something too later in this that can combat that. And that is just the art of giving. And so I'm just going to say that right now. One of the things we can look outside ourselves and do is actually give with some love, some kindness, some words of encouragement. So that helped get me out of it. I gave some words of encouragement to someone else after I had heard some, and that really helped me turn it around. So those are the things that we're really trying to overcome. And I did a meditation just this week on comparison and overcoming comparison. And you can find that on my Instagram at Real Amy Edwards too. So anyway, there are big ways also to overcome, to rock life, to really turn our thinking around. And oftentimes those are plant medicines. I have done a lot of those, especially in the last couple years, and it definitely has changed my brain and changed my way of thinking. But on this show, I do value that. But also, I just want to say that it is about the daily practices that we do that are really, really going to be the things that make a difference. It's those habits. It's those better chemicals that we become addicted to in our brains. It's those better ways that we find that keep us present. And, the plant medicines and all that are tools that can really move us toward our own self-love, our own worthiness, our own acceptance of ourselves. But that's just what they are. They're tools. There are other tools too, which are as simple as meditation, which are as simple as quieting our mind, as tough as that is to do. So I'm about efficient daily practices. Can we do that? So how do we do it? How do we accept ourselves? How do we accept our truth? How do we really change the things that we want to change? There's 5 things. I did an ebook on this a few years back, and I went back and referenced that and made a few little tweaks And you know what? Maybe I'll just put that back out, a reissue of it. So go to my website. I'll have it up, amyedwards.com. So basically, this is 5 ways to rock life and 5 things that you can do. Number 1 is sleep enough. Seems pretty easy, right? Why do we blow that off like crazy? So if you have read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, then well done. I have read it. It took me forever to get through it because I read really slow. I read like 2 pages a day, but it is so worth the read. If you haven't read it, listen to it, read it, check it out, or just listen to what I'm about to say about it because I'll give you the gist. I'm going to give you the very, very short gist of it. Sleep basically affects our life in every single way imaginable, and it makes it better. And not with sleep aids, not popping a pill, actual real sleep. And we have to learn ways to cultivate that. For me, I have to cut down on my caffeine. I have to stop at 11 a.m. I have to consciously cut myself off or I will not be able to sleep. And then I feel like shit the next day. And then I wonder why. And then I eat too much. And then it's just this vicious cycle. Anyway, he also says that there's no catching up on sleep. You can't catch up. You can't think, oh, I'll catch up on the weekend when I didn't get enough sleep during the week. That's not a thing. So we have to conscientiously get 7 to 8 hours of sleep every single night and encourage our kids to. And so that's my number 1. And I know I'm such a sleep freak. And I even saw it in my daughter last night. Like she was feeling bad about all that stress and everything. I forced her to get I think she got probably close to 10 hours last night. And she's 11. And you know what? She was like a new person this morning. She was in a good mood. She was easy to deal with. It was just incredible. I've seen it in my kids nonstop. And I mean, I have to pay more attention to that in my own life. So anyway, that's number 1. So we're going to rock all 5 of these and then I'm going to recap them and you're going to be like, I got it. I got a little roadmap, right? So number 2, when you do wake up, or actually this can be any time of day, write it down. Whatever it is you want to accomplish or whatever it is you want to do, whatever it is you're dreaming of. Words have power. I've said it over and over. It doesn't even have to be an affirmation. It can be a goal. It can be anything you want. Just write it the fuck down. Okay. I mean, dreams, whatever they are, it doesn't matter if they're in a journal. It helps if it's somewhere where you can review it every now and then. And so I would say every day, take a little look at it. So I wrote down probably 100 goals or something, maybe more. The goal, I think I was shooting for 100. And so I wrote down pages and pages of goals and I review those every now and then. And I'm kind of shocked at how many of them have come true. And everything from people I want to be friends with, Gwen Stefani, I want to be friends with. That one hasn't come true yet, but it will. It's on the list. Everything from stuff like that seems like pie in the sky kind of craziness. You just write down anything. Or maybe there's just one specific goal, something that calls to you in your heart. Write it down. Have you written it down? I've asked so many people that over the years and they'll say, oh, I want to do that. And I'm like, have you written it down? And they're like, no. And I'm like, why not? Write it down. Write it down. That's all you have to do. And if you want to take it steps further, say it out loud. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Yeah. Write it down. And then you're going to have that little powerful thing. You can write it down repeatedly, or you can just reread it every day like I do. I don't do it every single day, even with those 100 goals. I'll flip through them and some of them I kind of laugh at, like the Gwen Stefani one, but who knows? Maybe that's going to come to pass. I don't know. But there's other ones that are way simpler that I realize if I just look at my life, they are already true. Like taking care of my children in the best way possible, becoming the best mother that I can be. What about my relationship? And then things about standing in worthiness, things about having my own show with a podcast network. Seriously, that was on there. It was with a podcast network that I thought already existed, but here's this one. So these things really have power. So that is number 2. Write it down. All right. Number 3. I think you know what's coming right now. Do you? Yeah, I'm going to talk about meditation, but we don't have to call it meditation. We can call it just sitting and being quiet and being still. And that was what really came to me today when I had my mind was racing and I was like, what am I going to do this right to talk about this today? There's that there's that same old thing, that same old song, different verse from our previous episodes, doing it right. And I just found myself, oh yeah, just return to stillness and everything becomes way clearer. And you feel better about everything you're doing too. I promise. So I say, set your timer for 5 minutes on your phone and just sit and be quiet. It's okay. It's okay to let the stress go. It's okay to sit in the moment. It's okay to let those darknesses floof away. Floof, I don't know, fade away, flow away, right? It's okay to stop consuming for a moment, to stop staring at our phone for a moment, to just be in the present moment. And those are the moments where magic really happens. Like, I think all morning today when I was before recording this, when I was prepping, my mind was racing. It has been for a couple of days and over this. And I had to force myself to meditate this morning and get really quiet. And I set an intention. I was like, my intention is to find the words that need to be said on this podcast. And then I got really, really still. And the word stillness just came. And I was like, what a fucking paradox, right? That was that paradox between what really rocks life, what really brings meaning, and then just shutting our mind up and getting super still. It's weird how that works. And then that stillness is going to bring us more clarity in the action that we want to take, more clarity in the direction that we want to go and why. Because our ego likes to step in there and be all like, no, you're going to compare yourself and you're not as good. And you need to do this and you need to, go buy likes or something. I don't know, like to look like you've got all the numbers or whatever it is. So can you get quiet? Can you just tune in? Can you just drop in? Just 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And you know what? If you don't know what to think about, if all those thoughts that make it complex are creeping in, step behind them, observe them, and perhaps find a vision of yourself that is rocking life. What does that look like? What does that beautiful vision look like? Just hold on to it for a minute and feel it for a minute. Nothing wrong with that. What did you write down? Can you think about that for just a minute? What's that person doing? Is that person depressed about anything? No. That person's happy, and that's you. That's all you have to do. All right. We're up to number 4. This is a practice that I talked about a zillion times if you listen to me at all. And that's a gratitude practice. So in that same thing, wherever you're writing this stuff down, grab a little notebook, even if it's on your phone, or text it to a friend. I don't know. Maybe you can start a friend accountability gratitude practice. I don't think I phrased that right, but you get what I'm saying. Gratitude accountability practice with a friend. That's better. So maybe you can just text 3 things or 5 things that you're grateful for. And they can be as simple as heat in your house after last week in Austin. So, it could be as simple as beautiful weather outside. It could be as simple as shoes. I don't know, or it can be about love in your heart. It can be about the friend that you're writing it to. It can be literally anything. But it teaches you to look outside yourself a little bit in a very positive way to see the beauty of life that is always there for us. And number 5, we're cruising through these and I love it. Number 5, and this is what I touched on earlier when we talked about comparison. Do one nice thing for someone else every single day, or at least try to make it a practice on more days than not. Even when you feel like you don't have anything to give. And I say that because I've been there. I feel like some days you just feel like you don't have anything to give. You can feel depleted. But newsflash, you're not. You're not depleted. You are not a reservoir that runs out and has to be filled back up. You're not. You're a river with energy flowing through you at all times. All you have to do is tap into it. That's it. You know what that means? Yeah. It means getting quiet, sitting for a moment. That's all it is. Do even the smallest nice thing, even a tiny little message like, hey, I was grateful for stuff I was writing down gratitude today, and you popped into my mind, and I'm just grateful for our friendship. What if you got that message? Wouldn't you be like, God, that's so nice? Yesterday, someone told me something nice that someone said about me, somebody that I know is really discerning and does not throw around compliments lightly. And I almost started crying. And I was like, thank you. Even just thinking about it, my heart like explodes. And it just super affected me even right now. And, just those little remarks that you maybe hear something nice about someone, pass it on. That makes such a difference. And if you want to do something bigger for somebody else, then do it. Surprise them with a couple flowers. I don't know. Send a little thank you note in the mail. That's nice too. All right. So those are the 5 things. Isn't that easy? Doesn't it sound simple? What's the payoff for those if we do those every day? The payoff is that our lives just become that much better, incrementally better every single day, or more days than not. Sometimes it's too hard to hold yourself to that standard of every single day. But if you can do it more often than not, I consider that a resounding success. And the payoff is that you get clearer, much clearer on the goals that you want to smash the shit out of. The goals that you dream of, the life that you dream of having, that happier person, that higher vision. Get enough sleep. Write it down. Sit and be clear for 5 minutes. Get grateful. And do one nice thing. I'm practicing what I preach, and that's it. And you're doing fucking great. Tell yourself that. Just choose to believe it. Just choose to believe it. The rest of it just makes us feel bad. Those are the spaces that we want to spend time in. Those feeling good spaces. They call it the vortex. And we choose the things that we feel good about and keep spending time feeling good about it and allowing ourselves to. And then the other things start to fall into place. I know it's a stretch to believe sometimes, but that's what I'm striving for. That's what I've been doing. And that's what I'm telling my daughter to do, essentially, to not have to spend time in those spaces where you feel bad. Spend time in the spaces where you feel good. And that's what getting clear is about too. It's about just spending time in the present moment, because you can feel good in the present moment. You can. If you're really being present, you can. If you're thinking about some perceived failure or some other bullshit, then okay, maybe not. But that's not really being present. Ha. Okay. So that is so good. So we did it. We talked about these 5 things that do get results. These are just simple things. And that is what I'm all about. How can we simplify it? Because we make it so big and complicated so many times where we have to go read and study and all that. And we don't. Even with my relationship, I found myself overcomplicating it so many times. And then I just stop. I go, nope. I'm good just being me, just being. And I tune and tap back into that. And every single time it works in the way that we're in a better space of love and we're more present and we're more happy. And I'm like, that keeps working. Who knew? How about that? So finding those spaces where you can feel good. And that's the present moment. Yes. And you are doing great. You are doing so great. So if there's one big takeaway today, I would say it's just spending a couple minutes in that clarity and presence of the moment when you can. Yes. And I know it's a gigantic paradox. Rock life, like action items. You do have action items. You've got like 5 action steps. This is an action step. We can reframe it into an action step. So small steps. I made a post on my Instagram story the other day, and it was like, there were 2 ladders. One was like with little rungs all the way up. And the other ladder had these massively wide rungs where like there was no way you could reach the next rung. And there was somebody down there just reaching for the first rung. And the other person was already at the top with their small steps. And that's what it's all about. It's about those small steps. Don't be afraid to take the small steps. Don't be afraid to just focus on what you can do right now. I might have told this story before, so apologies if I have, and you've heard it before, but I had someone email me or Instagram message me or something, someone I don't know. And she was like, how did you get your book published? Please tell me. I'm about to start writing my book. And I was like, honey, just write the book. Write the book. Just let's not, like, that's reaching for that rung that's way too high. Like, yes, your goal may be get the book published. But you got to write like at least the first chapter first, right? You got to write a page. So just take the small steps. And you know what? That little moment of clarity is going to give you the presence of mind to take the small step for whatever it is that you need to do. So the paradox of getting quiet and all that is you are more clear on the small steps and the small goals that you need to take to get to the big one, right? And just being the better person in every moment is where it's at. Being your better self and your better version today, tomorrow. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to not get it done. And that's okay because your best version is not perfect. It's never perfect. No, there's no such thing. So cut yourself a lot of slack and tell yourself you're doing great. I mean it. So thank you so much. So remember, the stillness, allow that clarity and rock your life. Thank you so much for listening. Every single one of these should make us just rock a little bit more, right? Just get a little bit better, just a little bit more present and a little more in love with ourselves. Because that's what it's all about. Loving yourself no matter where you're at, right? That's the most rocking thing that you can do. Oh, and it's beautiful. And believe me, it's taken me a long time, nearly 50 years to get there. I got to give a quick shout out before we go. I am wearing a t-shirt today that says meditate your way to the top. And it is so cute. He didn't even ask me to wear this, but it's my friend Wes. And he has a brand called The Obsidian Blade. That is his Instagram handle, The Obsidian Blade. And he's been making some really cute t-shirts for guys and girls and unisex, whatever. And anyway, he sent me one and I love it. And it's got like a third eye, like an eye of consciousness on here, and it says meditate your way to the top. So I just wanted to give him a shout out and let you know what I was wearing in case you're watching this on YouTube too, or you can hop over there or hop on my Instagram and you can see the shirt because I will post it. You can find me on Instagram at Real Amy Edwards. Any other business, please like, rate, review, subscribe, share with a friend. That all matters in the podcast world big time. And so if you like it, please, please, please share the love. I would so appreciate it. Maybe that's a nice thing that you can do today. I'd appreciate it for sure. And remember that Hot Pie Media has tons of great other content, so go check it out when you can. They're on YouTube and everywhere that you find podcasts. So I just want to say a big shout out to you for being here. Thank you so much. If you want to reach out to me, you can do so on Instagram, or I'm a little more accessible and I'll probably see it a lot easier if you email me. That's amy@amyedwards.com. And I do have some free content too up on my website there, and subscribe too, because I'm going to have that meditation series out really, really soon. Yay. I'm so stoked. I love you very much. And I am so grateful to be sitting here and grateful that your ears are here and you are here and your presence is here. And I just wish you love and bliss and joy and health and wealth and abundance and everything good, because that's the goal in it. And may we all just be rising together. Remember that you don't have to be competitive with anybody else. You don't have to even be competitive with yourself. You really don't. You can just sit in this moment and enjoy where you are and love that space and get still and get clear and just keep taking steps forward, little small steps on that ladder. That's what it's all about. I love you. Have an absolutely beautiful week. We'll be back next week with Caitlin Howe. I'm really stoked about that. So much love. Mwah.
Thanks for listening. You can find more episodes and all other Hot Pie Media originals baked fresh daily at our home on the web at hotpiemedia.com, the Hot Pie Media YouTube channel, or wherever you listen to podcasts.